to relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays, happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the traffic avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the traffic avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah. Welcome to the Traffic Avenue.
City 97.3. More variety. City 97.3. Accra.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Akosia Oche.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, former president and flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, takes a firm stance on LGBTQI, saying the law against it will strive in his government. But what is the state of the bill currently in Parliament? We'll be going live to the House to understand the status. Also coming up is a season of labor strikes. 4 labor unions declare a strike over conditions of service and pension issues. We'll be hearing from them, plus the officials who were supposed to prevent that from happening. And later on Eyewitness News, 76% of Ghanaian men are unaware of their HIV status. That's according to the latest Ghana Statistical Service information. We'll be asking what the consequence of this information is. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Government urged to employ measures to avert any food security crisis in the country.
That's in 50 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations. In the Northeast region, we are in Nakpanduri on 101.3 FM, that's CAP FM. In Upper East, we are on Source 100.1 FM in Boko. In Upper West, we are on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. In the Northern region, we are in Tamale on Diamond 93.7 FM. In the Volta region, we are in Ho on Global 105.1 FM and Adanu 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya. In Ashanti region, we are on Alpha Radio 104.9 in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. And Ahafo region, we are on Hammers 106.5 FM in Goso. In Western region, we are on Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky Power 93.5 FM. All of them based in Takrady. We are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are on citynewsroom.com, and we are interactive. Join us on the social media platforms. X, the handle is at Umaru Sanda. You can also tweet at City973 and use the hashtag City Newsroom. On WhatsApp, the number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the first one is coming from the camp of former President John Dramani Mahama. Akosia.
Yes, he has made his stance clear on LGBTQ issues and the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values, also known as the anti-gay bill, which is currently before Parliament, or the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill, which aims to criminalize LGBTQ activities, has sparked controversy since its introduction in Parliament by the MP for Ningo Pram Pram, Sam Nati George, and other lawmakers. Or speaking at a breakfast meeting with the clergy in Koforidua and the Eastern region, John Mahama says his personal faith is against it.
The faith I have, Empany said, Bema, the worry Bema, Oba, the worry Oba. Being a war parliament, Omunyam passing, but I'm saying, I buy actually says, Omu passing, President on site.
My faith is against same-sex marriage. There is currently a bill before Parliament seeking to criminalize such activities, but the government has made it clear that the president won't sign it into law when passed because he does not believe in private members' bills that have financial impact on the consolidated fund. Parliament and the executive must engage on the matter to iron out clauses that impose financial implications on the state to enable the president sign it into law.
It puts a charge on government, not only everyone. Then it opens the way for the president to be happy to sign the agreement.
You heard that the NDC flag bearer, John Mahama.
Let's speak to the lead proponent of this anti-LGBTQI law that the president, the former president, referred to. Samuel Nate George is MP for Ningo Pram Pram. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Umara.
So,
good evening to you.
Good evening to you. You and 7 others went to Parliament in your private capacity as MPs, and I think you even have one person from the MPP side. But the former president now is speaking on this matter. Does it mean it's the official position of the NDC that LGBTQ be criminalized in the form that you are seeking for a law to be created? Is that an NDC position now?
I believe that the General Secretary or National Chairman of the party or spokesperson of that would be the best to answer that question relative to the position of the party. However, it is to acknowledge that the constitution of the NDC states that when we have a flag bearer as president, he assumes leadership of the party. And so President Mahama speaking today in Koforidua in a meeting with clergymen stated that that was his personal opinion, that was his personal position. I believe that also translates into, to a large extent, the position of the party. If I look at the behavior of the party in Parliament and the direction that the minority caucus, the NDC group in Parliament, has gotten from the leadership of the party and in the past, even before we had our flag bearership election, and the leadership both from the time of Honorable Haruna Idrisu to Dr. Keselatu Forsen, I believe it to be safe to assume that that is the position of the NDC in on this matter.
I see. So he says that he has personal principles against that, and I believe that that's also one of the reasons that you championed that. Now, what is the status of the bill itself?
Well, the bill is going through consideration, which is literally the last stage before the third reading, where amendments to the bill, either by committee or sponsors or in conjunction between sponsors and the committee, those are considered. And once those are considered, we then proceed to debate those amendments on the floor. When the bill came, it came with about 34 amendments to the House. We have had about another 10 amendments during the process. I know we're going to, I think, clause 25, but we had done up to, I think, clause 11 before the House rose. And so I would say that we're almost 50% done with consideration. Hopefully another 2 weeks of parliamentary work when we resume, and we should be done with consideration. The third stage of reading is just a procedural thing. It's read and then it means the bill is passed. So that the real work is where we are now. Hopefully within another 2 weeks it should be done.
Now, what that means is that when you come back, you are certain that it can go through?
Pretty much. In fact, in the first session of the meeting we're about to start, of this fourth meeting of the 8th Parliament, we believe that in the first session, which is going to run from the 7th of January, 7th of February or 6th of February, I think, till sometime end of March or early April, I believe that we should be able to pass the bill before Easter. I think that it's something we should give as an Easter gift from Parliament to the nation. And so we will strive to work with the Speaker and the committee chair to pass. In fact, I saw the committee chair this afternoon in Parliament and congratulated him on his victory in his parliamentary primaries. And he indicated that when the House resumed, he was ready to continue with the consideration stage of the bill.
Are you certain you would get the buy-in of all MPs so that you don't have to go through a vote on this bill before it's sent to the president if it's approved?
We don't need to have a vote on this bill because the process is that every clause as standing in the bill, either with amendments or without amendments, is put to a debate and then a vote is taken on it. So if people are looking for a vote, we're doing those votes before the budget hearing. And once we resume, we'll continue with those votes. Because once we take the individual votes on each clause, so like I said, I think we got to clause 11. So if we start with clause 12, whatever amendments are in clause 12 will be debated by both sides of the House, sponsors, people for or against, people who think that we should change the word. A lot of the new amendments that have come from the Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu. And most of those amendments have just been in terms of choice of word, to ensure that, because most of the things in the bill, when people talk about the bill, most of the things in the provisions in the bill are actually derived from the Constitution. We pulled them out of the Constitution or other existing legislation. And so what we are trying, most of the amendments or the majority leader, Chairman Sambonsu, brings up are to use the same word as the Constitution uses or as existing legislation uses. So basically you call them procedural amendments. Once those amendments are done, the Speaker puts a question that clause 12 or clause 11, as amended by the House, will stand as a part of the bill. All those in favor say aye. That's a vote. Once we say aye, and there's the noes, and he says the ayes have it, it means that part of the bill. So as we speak now, clause 1 to 11 is done. The votes have been taken. When we do clause 12 to 25, that's it. Then he will now say all the clauses as have been put together that have been previously amended and approved, say aye. And that's it. The bill is passed. There's no vote, special votes that will happen that all 275 members and they will call. No. We are doing the vote. That's basically what we're doing.
I see. All right. Thank you so much. Now, before you leave, today is 31st January 2024. Exactly 5 years ago, right about now, or maybe an hour prior to now, you would have been receiving a hefty slap in Ayawaso West Wuogon. That was the by-election to replace the late Honorable Ejakun. 5 years on, there was a commission of inquiry that was set up. Recommendations were made. 5 years on, reflecting on our elections, as someone who was at that election to engage in the work of your party and having been assaulted, what are your reflections?
Tomorrow. It's not an hour ago, 5 years ago. It was around 9 a.m. 5 years ago, early in the morning, just at the start of poll, when criminal elements in our national security apparatus carried out the heinous crime of attacking an armed Ghanaian citizen who were only seeking to cast a vote in an election. I was there doing election monitoring on behalf of my party, duly accredited by the Electoral Commission. We also, and thanks to Citi FM and the brave journalism your journalists on the day carried out, in the face of bullets and axes and machetes being used by national security operators, they carried out footage and secured footage that became even evidence before the Justice Emil Short Commission. But Umaru, I have come to the conclusion 5 years on. In the past 4 years, every 31st of of January is a somber one for me. It's just 9 days after my birthday. And I remember the fact that I could very much not have been around. In fact, my last child, my daughter, would most likely not have been born by me because she's not up to 5 years old. And I look at her and I say, God, I'm grateful for the gift of life. But Omar, I'm the lucky one out of the lot. Isha Oyaro was on his way to Europe to play football. He was on his way to a European club to play football as a breadwinner for his family. He was shot in the leg and his bones shattered. He's undergone 7 surgeries. None of them have been at the expense of the state. His football career terminated. Mohamed Saidu was attacked, hit with an axe in his back. He's paralyzed, suffered a stroke. No compensation from the state. I have read that report over and over again. I have read the white paper. The white paper referenced to me the government disagreed with the Emil Short Commission and said that I provoked the person. However, we have a president who's supposed to be a lawyer. We have an attorney general who's supposed to be said to be a fine lawyer. And our law books tell us that provocation is not a defense for assault. Yet the government, in its white paper, says that they disagree with the findings of the commission because they believe I provoked the officer. Such a lame legal excuse. But that's fine. It's Sam George. Anything else, anything can pass. But what about the other 8 Ghanaian citizens? The 5 who were attacked and injured and the 3 whose properties were damaged. The government agreed with the compensation regime. 5 years on, the government has failed to honor the compensation to any of the 8. Umaru, the officers who were held and found guilty of negligence of duty or brazen abuse of power and who were to be reprimanded, none has happened. A gentleman called Double was supposed to be prosecuted for picking a weapon without permission. The Attorney General has gone deaf and dumb on that. He's refused to prosecute him. Mohammed Suleimana, who assaulted me, was supposed to be prosecuted for assault. That in itself has not happened. Then you have DSP Azubu, who was supposed to be relieved of command position. DSP Azubu still serves in command position with national security. The government's own white paper accepted those recommendations. Dan Echampong was supposed to be reprimanded. He's been applauded by the president and congratulated by the president by awarding him a cabinet ministerial position as Minister for Agric for a job well done. Colonel Opoku, who oversaw the release of weapons for the brutal attack of Ghanaian citizens, who was supposed to be reprimanded and who was supposed to deliver those weapons for further ballistic testing, has not delivered those weapons for ballistic testing and has actually been promoted by President Akufo-Addo to a 1-star general for a good job done in Ayawaso West Wogon. So if I tell you that President Akufo-Addo and his henchmen at National Security carefully planned, orchestrated, executed, and perpetrated the actions of Ayawaso West Wogon, the attack on innocent Ghanaian citizens, I would not be far away from the truth. And January 31st, 2019 was a precursor for 7th December 2020, where for the first time in the history of this country, 8 Ghanaians were killed in cold blood by men wearing uniform, the Ghana Armed Forces uniform. Till today, 3 years and counting, 3 years and almost 2 months since they were killed, to elect President Akufo-Addo, has not had the decency and the milk of human compassion to even make statements about the death of those 8 Ghanaian citizens. Because it all comes back. And in the lead up to the 2016 election, the media took me on when I said that President Akufo-Addo is the single largest beneficiary of political violence. No president in the history of Ghana has ever had human blood spilled. Ghanaians died because of his election, except President Akufo-Addo. And like I said this morning to your reporter, the pain and trauma I have felt and the families of the 8 and everyone who's been affected will not depart from the household of President Akufo-Addo and everybody involved. Their children and their great-grandchildren will feel the pain that we have felt. They will feel the emotional trauma that we have felt. They will feel the neglect that we have felt. It will run in their generation because you don't do that to people and walk through your marrow.
You are cursing now.
I am not. I'm speaking from my heart because it is clear to me that my children could have been fatherless. My 2 sons could have not had a father because some evil, wicked people sat down and planned to wreak mayhem. And God will never forgive them. So long as they do not do what is right by man, God will never forgive, except there is no God. And like the Bible says, the sins of the fathers will be visited onto their children up to the 7th and 10th generation.
Where are you going to seek justice for now that you say justice has not been served you?
Well, in 2020, when the NDC manifesto was being drafted, I made a presentation to the manifesto committee. And in that People's Manifesto, it was captured there under our justice and law section of the manifesto that the next NDC government under John Dramani Mahama would have sought justice in terms of prosecution and compensation for persons affected by the Justice Emil Short Commission report. Unfortunately, President Mahama did not win the 2020 election. The same petition and prayer is going to be made to the manifesto committee that is working. We include him in our 2024 manifesto. And God help us, we win power 2025. I will be on the neck of His Excellency the President and whoever will be Attorney General to ensure enforcement of the Justice Emil Short Commission report, to seek justice from those who have offended and breached the laws of our land and compensation for those for whom it is due. The 5 who were physically assaulted and the 3 whose business or property was damaged.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
I'm grateful, Umaro.
That's Samuel Nate George. He is NDC MP for Ningo Pram Pram, speaking to us on the first issue, the LGBTQI position by the former president and NDC flag bearer, and secondly, on the anniversary of the assault on his person in the Ayawaso West Wogon by election. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We have more coming your way. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hey, Obeyin, what is this I'm hearing about some economic census?
Yes, the Ghana Statistical Service is conducting a nationwide census of all businesses called the Integrated Business Establishment Survey, popularly known as IBES.
A census of businesses? What is that for?
Well, for businesses to grow, they will need data on all business activities for decision-making to enhance their profitability.
Hey! So does it mean my chop bar is part of this exercise?
Of course it is. All businesses, whether for profit or non-profit, are included.
Okay, but won't my personal information be disclosed?
Not at all. Data collected will be kept confidential and used solely for statistical purposes, so your individual information is well protected.
Really? So when is it starting and how can I help?
This exercise will begin in January 2024. Help by giving the right information to the field staff who will be visiting your business.
Remember, support GSS to provide you with the right data for your business growth and national development.
2024 IBES, data for prudent business decisions.
The wait is over. It's the Clash of Titans. The Total Energies African Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023 is here. And as part of this year's competition, all Total Energy service stations will go into 100% football mode. So drive to selected service stations and kickstart your year with lots of amazing giveaways. So starting Sunday 14th January, when you buy fuel or lubricants on selected match days from selected Total Energy service stations, you instantly win amazing branded souvenirs. Let's celebrate the passion of football together and win lots of gifts during the 2023 Total Energies African Cup of Nations. Remember, promo is valid while stocks last. Visit our social media pages Total Energies GH for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Let's live football together.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM, broadcasting from Adabraka in Accra. Let's talk about HIV and AIDS now and the latest report by the Ghana Statistical Service. Agozia.
The Ghana Statistical Service's Ghana Demographic and Health Survey has revealed that 76% of men aged 15 to 49 in Ghana are unaware of their HIV status. Additionally, only 28% of men in this age group reported using condoms during sex with non-cohabiting partners. In comparison, women showed higher awareness with around 54% testing to know their HIV status and 11% using condoms during sexual intercourse with non-cohabiting partners. The acting director of demography, Godwin Odejibi, has been speaking on this matter.
Only 11% indicated that they use a condom that is for the women. Whilst that of the men, the figure is 28%. So for ever tested for HIV and receive the results, women is 54% and that of the men is 24%. So you see that the men, we are not doing well as far as the women are concerned. Then also, those who tested for HIV in the last 12 months and received the results, the figure is 15% for women and 7% for men.
The Statistical Service also found that nearly 80% of Ghanaians have discriminatory attitudes towards persons living with HIV.
74% of those women who indicated that they have heard of HIV indicate that no, for them, they will not buy from a shopkeeper or from a seller. And 65% of men indicated that they will also not buy. So you see over here, a higher proportion of women than men indicated that they will not buy fresh vegetables from a shopkeeper or a seller. Discriminatory attitude towards people living with the HIV. Over here, the proportion of 78% of women indicated that, yes, they have some or they have behaved in a way which is discriminatory towards the persons with HIV. So, and then that of the men is 72%.
Godwin Odejibi serves as acting director of demography at the Ghana Statistical Service.
Dr. Cheme Etuahini is the Director General. Dr. Cheme Etuahini is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. He's joined us on the line. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Mr. Sander, for having me.
So, the statistics are startling, aren't they?
Yeah, and also quite sad that more than 78% of Ghanaians should discriminate against persons living with HIV merely on the basis of misconception about the disease. And you may, wonder whether these people who are stigmatizing persons living with HIV actually know their HIV status. They probably some of them may be having HIV without even knowing because they have never tested to know their HIV status. And so the misconceptions are actually driving this high level of stigma and discrimination against persons living with HIV. And we all have to work together to correct these misconceptions. Because if somebody thinks that a person selling vegetables or fruits may end with living with HIV selling these items may end up, contaminating the fruits or vegetables, and therefore they would get HIV by buying from such a person. That is incorrect. It's incorrect because there is no way this person's blood or bodily fluids can get into the food items. And even if they get into the food items, it is impossible to get HIV from merely eating contaminated food. It's not possible because by the time the virus, you see, the virus outside the body or the blood is so fragile that it cannot last any long, outside the body. And so those are misconceptions. And the gases in the chemicals in the stomach are so strong that, the acid in the stomach is so strong that the virus cannot survive it. And so there is no way that somebody eating contaminated food will end up getting HIV. And there is no research whatsoever anywhere in the world that has confirmed that people have gotten HIV through food or drinks. It's never happened anywhere. So it's a mere misconception. And it's still people believing that HIV can be, one can get infected through mosquito bite. It's also, another misconception. It cannot, it's a false belief. It cannot happen. No research has proven that mosquitoes can transmit HIV.
The education on HIV has been a huge campaign since the early 90s, if not the late 80s. Why are we, after 40 years or close to 40 years, still having this challenge of misconceptions?
Yes. People choose to believe what they want to believe, even when they have the knowledge. Because the statistics from the Ghana Statistical Service in the demographic and health survey clearly shows that people, more than about 97 or 98% of Ghanaians, are aware of HIV. And they are also aware that, a person can get HIV through sexual contact, and that if they use condom, it's also possible for a person to prevent HIV transmission, which shows that, yes, they are aware of the prevention method. And therefore, you would expect that having this kind of understanding, people would also accept that HIV cannot be transmitted by mosquitoes, or that you cannot get HIV by merely sitting in one classroom with an uninfected person, or by merely buying from somebody who lives with HIV. So it's a misconception, and disease-related misconceptions and false beliefs are quite rife in every pervasive in every society, and that is what we as a Ghanaian society must try to stop, because all these are mere misconceptions.
Moving forward, what is the Commission going to use these statistics for?
Yes, the demographic and health survey is an important source of data for the HIV response. It gives us the data that help us to, monitor the trends in the epidemic and monitor progress of the response and our performance as a country. And so it provides evaluation tool for us to, design more effective interventions and policies to address the HIV epidemic in the country. And so that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to tailor our HIV campaign messages on the basis of the findings and the recommendations in the report, so that we are able to address the misconceptions and have more, partner reduction, because as you can see from the report, one of the major challenges for us, or what is driving the high numbers of new infections, include multiple concurrent partnerships, casual sex, unprotected sex, and transactional sex. We have to have tailored messages, that will target segmented populations at risk of HIV, so that we can get behavior change among these people. But most importantly, we will have to continue to, advocate testing, because we still have a number of people who live with HIV who do not know their HIV status. Again, from the same survey, that more than 78% or so of men have not tested. And so they've never tested in their entire life. And that is true from even the program data, that men are not testing. And so we want to target men, especially at-risk men and at-risk women, so that they get tested, for us to have the number of people living with HIV, put them on treatment and support them to achieve viral suppression and maintain their viral suppressed status, to ensure that we reduce, new infections in the country.
In the spirit of education, by the way, when was the last time you tested? And do you mind sharing your status?
Oh, my good self?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, in the first place, I am not involved. I don't do any activity that can be considered as risk behavior, and therefore the potential to be exposed to HIV. However, I test every year. I do my medical screening, and if you want to know, I'm saying it not because I'm HIV negative, but it has never shown serodiscordance. So my negative status remains the same.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Sorry, seroconversion, not serodiscordance, seroconversion.
What does that mean?
Seroconversion means that at one time you were tested negative and another time you were tested positive, which means in between the two times, you have had, seroconversion.
So in simple English, you are not positive?
No, in simple English, I am negative.
All right. If you are negative, then you are not positive.
Yes, but what we need to understand is that less than 2% of Ghanaians live with HIV. So it's most likely that most people in Ghana, that is over 98%, are HIV negative. That is why we shouldn't be afraid to test.
Very well.
Because it is most likely that your test results will be negative. So let's have the courage and the boldness to test.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
That's Dr. Cheme Etuahini. He's Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Do you care enough about your business? Then it's time to make a transition to renewable energy and energy efficiency solutions. Visit the AGI Energy Service Center and talk to us. AGI ESC cares about business growth. That is why we're here to assist industries cut production costs through energy savings. We provide you with solar feasibility studies, energy audits, energy efficiency trainings, and financial advisory services. Visit agiesc.com for more information or call us on 0507 977 902, an initiative of the Association of Ghana Industries in partnership with the German Development Corporation, implemented by GIZ.
Media Sambisanda mo. Eti emrati no mu hwan planet mi fi na mo bodompe mo man yakono. Eye kwabna. No mu hwan so netimi twasmale me ma yene nyina de. Eye kojo. Enu kro. Complete mi wi na bodompe mo sense o yisu president eba. Aye den aban ne do braye. Busi echi na mo ho ban na sem ma na hode ne. Sa ani na kudwo so yisu president chako. Na no ne de e ma wo se wo ye krejen fita. Na wotimi asiri bedwo ma na feel you. Ey kojo. Sa yeah. President Eba and a President Chaco. Afedie. Your corner natural.
FTIJ Chadian Katuyatu.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll talk about the labor agitations. But before then, Akosia has some other stories.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfrey Adame, has said that the delay in prosecuting the Major Maxwell Mahama case has prompted reforms in Ghana's judicial system. Despite the jury's life sentence verdict for 12 accused persons, the Attorney General highlighted avoidable delays that extended the trial to over 6 years. As a response, he mentioned a major reform initiative to abolish or modify the jury system during a visit by the late Major Mahama's family to the Attorney General's department to express appreciation. Godfrey Adame assured that these reforms aim to prevent such delays.
It has actually provoked an examination of the jury system for us to see whether there can be better ways of going about justice delivery without the involvement of the jury. I personally think that the jury system ought to be eliminated. We are very fortunate in your case to have not so much difficulties with the verdict. Last year, another murder trial which had also shocked the nation, the murder of a former chairman of the military in the Paris region, Gregory Afogu, I'm sorry. The former chairman of the MPP, Mahama. Yes. Adam Mahama. Yes. The verdict to the jury turned out to be quite incongruous. I mean, and really has led to a mistrial and conducted a first trial. But the jury returned a verdict in a way that clearly defied all reason.
You heard the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfrey Adame. Meanwhile, mother of the late Major Mahama, Veronica Bamford, shared her experience of how the incident negatively affected her mental health.
I always asked them to do the right thing. He had a gun on him, but he didn't shoot anybody. And I guess, if you don't know, he was the best shot in his intake. He won the award for the best shots. And in my family, I learned to shoot as a child. My dad was a crack shot. His hobby was hunting. And because I don't know whether it's the foreign blood in him, we used to spend Christmas in the bush, in camps. He would set up camps and we cook. And he would make some paper with some round, and we took turns shooting, and he would mark us for that. My son was a crack shot. He had a gun, yet he didn't kill anybody, and I'm thankful to God for that. I'm glad he didn't have anybody's blood on his hands. And I guess at the time he was going to, he probably would have been thinking, Mommy wouldn't like me to do this. And I'm glad he didn't. They outnumbered him. They would have killed him anyway.
Mother of the late Major Mahama, Veronica Bamford. Now, a member of the Public Accounts Committee, Samuel Atamils, has raised concerns about inefficiencies in the bookkeeping systems used by the Ghana Education Service. This concern arose due to the Dade Kotopon Education Directorate's inability to provide supporting documents for payments totaling over 400,000 cedis 2 years after the audit. Samuel Atta-Mills expressed these concerns during a Public Accounts Committee sitting.
It looks like most of the people who create these problems, we just transfer them to another place. And then sometimes they get promoted. Sir, this is Ghana Education Service. Can't we have an education program for our accountants on how to handle documents? Or somebody else should come and create a school to teach Ghana Education Service how to handle documents.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We, as Ghana Education Service, have been training our staff on how to handle documents, especially the accounts department. It's an exercise that we will continue to do. But there are these isolated cases.
That was a member of the Public Accounts Committee, Samuel Atta-Mills, and the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Eric Inkansa. Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister and NPP parliamentary candidate for Ayawaso Central, Henry Korte, has clarified that he maintains a cordial relationship with Sheikh Isikwe despite publicly supporting his opponent during the recently concluded primary. Sheikh Isikwe, who has been labeled as Mr. Korte's political godfather, endorsed Moses Abo in the poll in last week's elections. While reacting to the matter on Citi TV's face-to-face program, Henry Korte says political differences have not overshadowed their mutual respect and understanding.
Isikwe is my godfather. He continues to be my godfather, and he will be my godfather.
Even now, after he endorsed someone, he's still your godfather?
Oh, yes, why not? You see, let's get this straight. Henry Korte, nobody knew me. I worked with him right in this yard as a special assistant, right from 2007, 2006. And then arising out of that, I've gotten to where I've gotten to. I've made this statement about 3 days ago. Biblically, it says, honor thy father and thy mother, and thy days may be long. I leave that between him and his God. But as for me, I'll do what is needed of me as a son to my godfather. That I'll do.
How and why did you fall out with Sheikh Ibrahim Kujokwe?
To the best of my knowledge, I haven't fallen out with him. Maybe he wants me to go in a style that I also feel that I have to be my own man. That's all it is.
When did he
my
start?
Own man, not forgetting my roots, that he's my godfather.
So he wanted you to be a poodle?
Well, I wouldn't say that. Maybe he
wanted you to be a puppet?
Well, I would say that.
But it looks like it.
No, it's not.
That was the Greater Accra Regional Minister and NPP parliamentary candidate for Ayawaso Central, Henry Korte.
And he was speaking on Face-to-Face on Citi TV. Catch Face-to-Face every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on Citi TV. Now, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEU, has declared a nationwide strike effective February 1, 2024. The strike is in response to the government's failure to address various concerns. Suleimana Abdurrahman is the national chairman of TEU. He's joined us on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. What are these concerns and how long have you been raising them for? Which concerns went ignored?
Mr. Suleiman.
Hello, sir?
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Apologies. That doesn't sound like Mr. Suleimana. Suleimana should be a man, based on my knowledge. But let me bring you a sound bite of his earlier interview that he granted to us here, Suleimana Abdurrahman, who is head of who is the national chairman of Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEU.
Following the lackadaisical nature of the employer, which is the government of Ghana, to address the challenges and problems of TEU members in the traditional public universities, the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana is hereby declare an indefinite strike. And the strike takes effect from 1st February, which will be Thursday, until further notice. TEU Ghana urges government and all stakeholders to use this opportunity to swiftly address the legitimate concerns raised of other state trade unions to avoid subsequent unnecessary strike actions from other state unions in the public universities.
So that's the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, the National Chairman, Suleiman Abdul Rahman. Let's speak to the institution that usually deals with labor agitations, mediates between government and labor unions, the National Labor Commission. Ofosu Asamoah is the executive secretary of the commission. He's joining us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening to your listeners.
Good evening to you too. 4 unions announcing a strike almost at the same time. I know you have seen strikes and negotiated strikes, but is it not too early in the year for us to be seeing this?
And what are their reasons for embarking on the strike?
So they say issues of welfare. They talk about tier 2 pension funds. They talk about vehicle maintenance allowance and what they call overtime allowance. All of these they say they put on the table for a long time. It has been ignored, and the only way out is to go home and rest.
The issue of overtime allowance has been resolved. They appeared before the commission, and the opening statement of Mr. Donko, the Senior Staff Association president, said that it has been resolved, except for 2 universities. That is University of Cape Coast and University of Mines at Takwa. Immediately, the director of tertiary education was to send a letter to effect that correction, which has been done. Today, the GAWA were before the commission, and they admitted that the issue of allowances has been done, even for those who wanted to see their allowance before they go. Today, there was evidence of relief. In the case of the tier 2, it is true government are taking the money and not pay to the farmers. They admitted, and so monies have been, paid. What was left was the issue of the interest, the penalty for non-payment within the time, for which they themselves had agreed with the ministry to meet with the minister, that's the Deputy Minister of Finance, leading the government, tomorrow on the 1st, and to report back to the commission on the 8th. This was an agreement between the 2 parties, and the commission admitted they granted them request. And the law provides that whilst you are negotiating, whilst there's mediation, the party does not engage in a strike or anything that will intimidate the other party. So this was the understanding. Their own request to go and meet and come out was granted by the commission with the understanding that you will not go on strike. You leave the commission and then you go and declare strike. And all others have also come up. We sympathize, we have joined, and everybody is free. But please let them ask them. You have put something across and you have agreed. So go, and why do you want to be on strike when your issues have been resolved? Why do you want to be on strike when those that have not been resolved are being resolved by your good self? It's quite an unfortunate situation. It's like at the moment strike is becoming a tool that is being misused. It should be used fairly. Yes, it's a very important tool for workers to press on their demand. But I fail to find the legs on which they are standing to declare the strikes and to close all universities. As if we just want to close it for fun. That's how I see it. Because...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, because I was at the commission as secretary to the commission. They made all their presentations, which are on record, both in electronic recording and in handwriting. Tomorrow, you can come and see it can be played to you.
So their strike is without merit. That's what you are simply saying.
It is unmeritorious. It is needless, I must say.
Which means that it's needless to ask you if you rule against them, should this matter be brought before you by the government?
If you do what? If
the government should bring them to you for arbitration, you have already determined that there's no merit and you're going to rule against them.
No, that is for the commission to do. But with my experience as the executive secretary, as a lawyer, and an advisor, and all the different people. And I mean, this one, you don't even need, what do you call it, to be a lawyer or a labor. When you read the law, it's clear. It is clear when you read the law. It's simple English language.
But you sound as if you are prejudicial to their cause or their plight.
I am not prejudicial. Actually, I don't listen. What is prejudicial? I'm a lawyer. I sit there as executive secretary. I've been doing this in work. I know the law. So if somebody is doing something which is wrong, I can't tell the person is wrong. They consult me, see themselves on their actions. And if it is wrong and I am saying it, what is prejudicial about it?
Now that they are on the strike, you believe that
or is it because they are on strike, we shouldn't say what is wrong?
No, because the issue will be brought before you for litigation, and I'm just saying that because you've already taken a position.
If it will be, there's a possibility of bringing, but it's not probable. So if it is wrong, if somebody, it's possible that somebody will go to court, right?
Yes.
To seek an interpretation, and nobody has done it, and somebody sought your view on it, because it's possible that somebody might go to court. You don't say anything about it as an expert. Is that what you are saying?
Are you, as a commission, going to go to the court to?
I am not a member of the commission. I'm a executive secretary. It's the commission that will pronounce whether it's illegal or lawful or it is lawful. But me, as executive secretary, with my experience, knowledge, and everything of the law, I think this is unlawful. And I know the facts of the case. Their petitions come to me. I'm the secretary. I sit in the meetings. No, you have come to the commission. You have told us that the issue has been resolved. It is one aspect which has not been resolved. We are going to meet them on it and report back to the commission on the 8th. And in the case of Gawa, on the 14th. And when you leave the commission, you go and declare a strike on what you are going to do, what you are going to meet and resolve. And the law says that during the period of resolution through negotiation, you are not supposed to go on strike. It's simple. And I'm sure you understand it.
I do. I just wanted quickly some quick education from you. I noticed that you are sort of separating your office from the commission. What's the difference between the executive secretary of the NLC and the NLC itself?
I am the administrative head of the secretariat of the commission, and I am secretary to the commission. When they sit as a panel, like let's say a judicial secretary or a registrar, when it comes to things. But the decision is taken by the 7-member commission, the chairman and the 6 nominees of government, the labor unions, and then the employers.
You don't have a vote?
No, I don't vote.
Very well.
I only execute what they say. That's why when you ask about the strike, I say, if the commission pronounce that it is illegal, immediately I'll be proceeding to court to enforce it. But on my own, I cannot.
Thank you
so much. When the commission has put so there should be a pronouncement by members of the commission.
Very well.
Then I do the execution.
Understood and appreciated. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Right.
Ofosu Asamoah is Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Up next, we have the latest in the world of business. And on Point Blank, we hear from the Member of Parliament for Old Tafu, Vincent Eko Asafwa. He has retained his candidature for the MPP. That's when we come back. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hello, Linda. You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, oh. That be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
time for City Business News and Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan made that big move and dream a reality. I am Akosi Ocho. Let's settle for the details. The General Secretary of the Ghana Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, Edward Karewe, says threats of food shortage looms as the Russia-Ukraine war continues. Edward Karewe is thus calling on the government to take preventive measures to avert a food security crisis in the country.
I'm not accepting that our own internal, investments have not been good enough to, insulate the people and the country from external factors.
So do you agree with the assertion by the IMF?
It will be so terrible in the sense that, if you don't invest, more of your people would relapse into the poverty.
You had the General Secretary of the Ghana Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, Edward Karewe. Now, the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, is urging both e-commerce businesses and event organizers to verify the validity of food hygiene permits for all food vendors applying to use their platforms to participate in events. This, according to the authority, will ensure public safety while promoting a friendly business environment. Now, former Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, Dr. Anthony Obing, is advocating for a review of the timelines involved in the granting mining leases to mining firms. Dr. Obing points out that the bottlenecks in the acquisition of licenses are impeding progress in the mining sector.
Also, ensure that timelines are respected. And when I say timelines are respected, I mean that the law as it stands now says that I think if by 90 days, if you apply for a concession and there was no problem, I think it's 90 or 150 days, you should have received your license. I think that is too long because at the time the laws were made, we didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have internet, so times were slow.
Dr. Anthony Obing further called for a reclassification of mining operations in the country. Now, the tax analyst, Dr. Alex Ampabing, has identified a critical need for the Ghana Revenue Authority to adopt a voluntary compliance approach in the bid to exceed its revenue target of 146 million cedis this year. The tax analyst wants the GRA to take initiatives that will make taxpayers feel more respected and be ready to pay their taxes. He spoke to City Business News.
Voluntary compliance will improve when people feel respected, when customers feel that they are taken seriously, their grievances will be addressed, the compliance process is simple, the cost of compliance is low for them. But when you have a system that is so rigid, so for example, poor customer service, then the taxpayer will not even be interested in dealing with the GRA. Then they will rather want to evade and then pay the consequences.
Dr. Alex Ampabing is a tax analyst, and that's how we wrap up City Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news was brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. I'm Akosi Ocho. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda. You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, that be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
The wait is over. It's the Clash of Titans. The Total Energies African Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023 is here. And as part of this year's competition, all Total Energy service stations will go into 100% football mode. So drive to selected service stations and kickstart your year with lots of amazing giveaways. So starting Sunday 14th January, when you buy fuel or lubricants on selected match days from selected Total Energy service stations, you instantly win amazing branded souvenirs. Let's celebrate the passion of football together and win lots of gifts during the 2023 Total Energies African Cup of Nations. Remember, promo is valid while stocks last. Visit our social media pages Total Energies GH for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Let's live football together.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
News. My name is Umaru Sandamado. Tonight on Point Blank, we are in the old Tafo constituency of the Ashanti region. The New Patriotic Party just returned from an election there, and the verdict that has been returned is that retain Vincent Eko Asafwa as a parliamentary candidate for the constituency. So while some 28 MPs were thrown out or booted out by their party members, this young man, fresh young man, he used to be the youngest man in parliament. I'm not sure if he still is. He has been asked to remain. Council, you're welcome to Point Blank.
Thank you, Mario.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm well, hale and hearty.
Was your stomach rumbling?
I think everybody who have had an opportunity to run for an election have gone through that experience. It's not a very healthy experience, especially when you know that there's a stiff competition, knowing very well that anything can also happen. But there was one thing that I knew was definite, that there was no way the people of Otafu was not going to renew my mandate because of my hard work, because of my commitment, because of my policy directive that I've given to them. And just about 3 years in office as a member of parliament, I know that I have done what the people expected of me. I have been able to give to them the kind of leadership that they so much expected. The social contract that they signed with me in 2020, that social contract I've been able to deliver my part. They gave me their mandate for me to be able to deliver that social contract. And so I have no doubt in my mind that I was going to emerge victorious.
So we'll talk about that social contract, some of the things you believe you did, for which reason they rewarded you by giving you another chance. And let me say that you didn't really contest to remove somebody. Did you? When you were going to start with you replaced, he decided not to go again.
Absolutely.
And you were not contested when you decided to run.
Absolutely.
So you went through. Yeah. Okay, so this is your first contest.
No, I had a contest 2020.
Okay.
We are just about 6 of us who contested in 2020, which I emerged victorious. I pulled about 52% at the time.
52%.
Yes.
And this time around, I'm looking at the percentage. So you had 367 votes. Your closest contender, or your only contender, had 337 votes. Did you expect that your contestant or your competitor or contender, Sewa Donko, would garner so much votes?
Well, I knew she was going to do better than the previous one, but I was disappointed in the numbers. Disappointed because on any day when I do the counting, there was no way I was supposed to have gotten anything less than 400. I got a bit disappointed with the numbers, and I don't know what happened. But of course, the most important thing is that I won.
But the magnitude of the win also matters, doesn't it?
Well,
that it should be very convincing.
Well, it matters, but as I said, the most important thing is that I'm going to Parliament in 2025.
Because Otafo, you don't expect NDC to win there.
Well, it has been the traditional seat for the New Patriotic Party. So, since 1992, the people of Otafo and Pankrono has voted for the New Patriotic Party.
What do you think were the issues of these primaries? Was it competence or cash?
Well, cash is out of the table. It was just about policy directives and the credibility of how I have led the people of Otafo constituency. Credibility in the sense that what could you or what would you do when you are given the opportunity? This was the big question in 2020 elections. And so the promise that I gave to them was that I'll bring my government to their doorstep. I will not let them feel that they are not part of my government. And so day in and day out, you will find Vincent in the constituency. In fact, in the history of Otafo constituency, I dare say that I have been one of the most visible, most available member of parliament to the people of Otafo constituency. Aside that, issues of security, very critical, and it has been topical in all the elections, that is 2020 election and this particular election. Anybody who knows Pankrono very well will tell you or will attest to the state of insecurity in Pankrono. In fact, just about 3 months ago, a young man had to die out of a turf between Pankrono and Adabraka. There's
an Adabraka in your constituency?
Yes, there's an Adabraka in my constituency. And so that turf war, if I'm not exaggerating, that turf war between Pankrono and Adabraka rose to the extent that a young man had to die. There's no security in Pankrono. There's no police station in Pankrono.
Really? I thought that's where Kwesi Fori was sent to some time ago. Where did he go to then if there was
maybe
no police
Otafo. But in Pankrono itself, there's no police station.
Okay.
And so anytime that you visit every house in Otafo, especially in Pankrono to be precise, what they want to hear from you is how are you going to tackle the state of insecurity in our region? Now, I realize that first and foremost, what you need to do for them is to ensure visibility of the police. If there's visibility of the police, it's one way or the other scared these miscreants away. And so I decided to put up a police station or a police post for them. Within 3 years, I realized that if I'm going to wait on government to do that, it's going to be very difficult. And so one of my commitments that I made to them that Pankrono people have voted for Otafo constituency for so long a time. What can I do for them? And so I use my own money to build a police station for them. I'm hoping that next week I should be able to commission that police station.
Okay.
It's almost finished.
A standard police station.
A standard police station. It's almost finished. And this is not government sponsored project. It is my own resources.
Not from your common fund.
Not from my common fund. It is my own personal resources, not from the common fund. How much is the common fund anyway? The common fund is about 60,000 or so a quarter. And sometimes you have or you'll be in arrears for about 2 or 3
where do you get money from to build a hospital, a police station?
It's my commitment to them. I had to find the money and do it.
But you are a young man in politics. The question would come, where did you get the money from? Before then you were, quote and unquote, a common PRO.
When I was contesting for the position or the seat, one of the questions that I was asked at the vetting was that, how am I going to mobilize resources to be able to cater for the constituency? And I was able to prove to them that indeed I will be able to organize resources to be able to take care of the constituency. The same vein that I was able to mobilize resources to be able to put up that police station for the people of Pankrono. And so in no time, there's going to be police visibility in Pankrono because of the police station that I have built for them. And so it was on that basis that everybody knows that when you come to Pankrono, it's my stronghold. You cannot beat me in an election over there because I've always been doing what the people always want there.
Okay.
So the people had to renew my mandate because of that fulfilled promise that I gave them. So today you can see it clear. You will see it very visible that the police station have been completed at Otafo.
So you've done a police station. What else?
Well, one thing that I also promised them was a health facility at Pankrono. There was one that was started, I think, in 2005 or 6. And since 2007, that health facility was not continuing. It has been one of their major challenges because sometime during the night, you have issues where because of the lack of proximity with respect to a health facility in Pankrono, it becomes very difficult for some of the constituents. And so they prevailed on me to be able to complete that for them. Again, today if you come to Pankrono, the Pankrono people will attest to you that we are also almost done with the completion of that health facility that has been there since 2007. So that's almost 16 years now that that facility has been there. And so it is also on that backdrop that the people of Pankrono also renewed my mandate because they realized that what they really wanted me to do, I am doing for them. Apart from that, there are also some unemployment issues that we have in my constituency, especially Pankrono. As a member of parliament, what could I do for them? What I could do for them was for me to be able to lobby a number of job opportunities for them. And so in most of my dealings with the young ones, when I ask them what they want to do and their career objective, I'm able to lobby a number of jobs for them. So if you come to Pankrono, I dare say that a number of the young men and young women in Old Pankrono, to be precise, has been placed in most of these public institutions, being the local government institution, the Ghana Education Service, the TVET service. I mean, name them. That we've given a lot of employment to the young ones. For those also in the private sector, what we do for them is to be able to assist them, especially the young ones who are able to show some mettle, that indeed they have the capacity to be able to broaden their businesses. We are able to show them as to how to be able to assess a bit of finances to be able to show up their businesses. And these are things that we are doing for them. And so a lot of people outside Otafu constituency felt that my mandate was not going to be renewed because they failed to come to the constituency to see what was happening there. And I feel that because of these fulfilled promises that I gave to them, they renewed
But
my
listening to you announce the projects you have embarked on and the interventions, and you keep saying Pankrono, what happened to the rest of your constituency?
Well,
or is that where you come from?
No. I mean, when you come to Otafu, Dr. Akoto built this library in Otafu. The place is Otafu Methodist School. Now, for also close to about 10 years, the library has been in a very bad situation. It is not in use. And so one of the things that the people of Otafu also really wanted me to do was for me to have a renovation of that library. Today, if you go to Otafu Methodist, the people of Otafu Methodist and the people of Otafu constituency have seen, indeed, where we had our elections was very close to that renovated library. That library has been renovated even though it is not completed. But I think that is about 90% completed, which in no time we will be able to also commission that for the public to be able to use that. Unemployment issues also in Otafu. The same thing that I did in Pankrono, have done several of these opportunities. I mean, I've done several of these things for the people of Otafo, respect to the youth. So the creation of employment opportunity for the young ones in Otafo, I have also done that for them. People who were not in the constituency, or people who have not been in the constituency, also didn't know the kind of work I have done with respect to the young ones and the young men and the young men in the constituency, which I know for sure that it was on that backdrop that the people of Otafo also renewed my mandate.
So what's the next agenda? What's the agenda for the next 4 years?
The next agenda is to continue what I've started. We still have a number of our young men who are still looking for jobs. We still have a number of our young women who are also looking for jobs. Quite a number of projects that have started. I have a number of 6-unit classroom blocks that I started, which I'm not done. If we go to Pankrono, I have one 6-unit classroom block, which is yet to be completed. If you go to Otafo, there's a school called Father Krishi Primary School. I've also started a 6-unit classroom block, which is yet to be completed. We just awarded a contract for the completion of a 6-unit classroom block at St. Benedict RC, which is also in Shaiso. And so these are projects that have started that I think that within the next 4 years, we should be able to complete them.
These are things that you are directly involved in. Talk to me about government's direct intervention in your constituency. Has the government neglected you? Because it appears all the things are from your side.
I don't think so. When you come to Otafo, in fact, in Ashanti region, the last time I spoke to the director of urban roads, Otafo is one of the constituencies, or if you like, the major beneficiary of road infrastructure in Ashanti region. The last time I visited the traditional authorities, that is the chief of Otafo, I mentioned to him that by the year 2026, all our roads in Otafo will be tarred. If you go to a place like Abed for so many years has never seen any tarred road. For the first time in the history of Otafo, Abed saw tarred roads in its vicinity. Today, if you go to Abed, that is all that they are talking about. And they tell the government that we are grateful for doing this for us because we've been crying out loud for such a development. We never got that opportunity. If you go to Pankrono Estate, quite a number of roads also have been constructed there. Few of them yet to be constructed. If you go to Inshaiso, the almighty Moro Market and Nation Virus, we've done a number of roads also over there. If you come to my own area, which is Adumpum, quite a number of roads also have been done there. If you go to Tafo Ahimbronum, the area close to the Chief's Palace, and I mean all those areas, we've done quite a number of roads also there. One critical issue that, in fact, I have asked the Minister of Health about 2 questions on the floor of Parliament with respect to the maternity block in Otafo. Is one of our biggest challenges, and I have tried so hard to make sure that that maternity block will be re-awarded, because I realized that there was a challenge between the old contractor, or if like the contractor who was given that contract in 2008 and the government. The minister tells me that there was abandonment of the project. The contractor also says otherwise, and so how we'll be able to as it were, reconcile what both persons are saying has been a challenge. And so I'm hoping that the next few months or years we should be able to complete the maternity block for the Otafo. In fact, I was with the Tafu chief about 3 days ago. They raised it that is their critical and pivotal challenge. How are we going to complete the maternity block? And I remember him saying that let me say that in tree. Yeah, train that about Umia Bahano. Near the autonomy, because I who hear pa. We didn't even say what count there our parliament. Let's see how Baumia will also be able to do that. So we are also hoping that that maternity block will be completed. It's very critical on my table, and I hope that in no time we should be able to complete that for the people of Otafo.
So these are projects or what interventions in your constituency. Let's talk about your footprint in Parliament as a first-termer, a young man. How would the Hansard remember you in the 8th Parliament? What have been your contributions to the legislative work? For which reason you were elected?
Well, you remember that I think I was one of the first persons who made a statement on the floor of Parliament. That was on the, I think on the 9th or 10th of January. I think we had our sitting
2021.
at the Dome. Yeah, 2021. I think the sitting was at the Dome. You remember that time?
Yeah, because of COVID.
Yeah, because of COVID. And so I remember I made a statement on the betterment of our education system, especially because I had just transitioned from the Ministry of Education as the Public Relations Officer. And I remember I made a very good statement on the floor. At that time, I made quite a number of suggestions as to how we can better our education system. We had just introduced the curriculum at the primary level, and we were just preparing to also introduce the Common Core program at the junior high school level. We had introduced the teacher training allowances, and we had also made sure that the student loan trust fund, where you have to be able to just use your card to be able to access a loan, for you to be able to have access at the university level. And these were things that we all advocated for before it was introduced just about 2 years ago. And so apart from that, at the committee level, I am part of the education committee. And at that level, quite a number of bills have been approved at that level, which we later sent to plenary. And I have played critical roles in the passage of those bills for them to become law. And so, now the Act 787 or 788, which was the Education Act in 2008, has now been merged into the Education Regulatory Act. And so we made quite a number of suggestions to it as to how we can have a very robust Education Regulatory Act to be able to take care of our education system in this country.
Did your age not play any role in your work in Parliament? Were you not intimidated in any way?
Not at all, not at all. Parliament is such an institution where if you have the vigor to speak, you will be allowed to speak, especially at the education level. And my chairman of the education committee, Kwabena Siama, has done so well. Anytime there's any issue with the education, especially from the Ministry of Education, you just call, Vincent, do you have anything to say? Vincent, do you have anything to say? And that has given me that opportunity to be able to share my opinion at the committee.
You were part of the key executors of the free senior high school policy. Yeah. There's always a call for it to be reviewed. Your government keeps insisting that there's no need for a review. You were a technical person before you became a member of Parliament. You genuinely think that with all the challenges that we are hearing about free SHS, it should still remain as is?
Well, how do we determine review, or how do we want to define review? I have had the opportunity to speak to a number of headmasters, and I must be frank with you, we have a problem. However, I do not think that we will want to, based on the challenges or the problem that we are facing in that sector, to deny poor people from having education. That has always been my challenge. For me, it is better for a young person to sit on the floor without a desk to learn, rather than not being educated. For me, it is better for a young person to go to school without a slipper and be educated without not being educated at all. I am not saying that the challenges are ones that we cannot deal with, but I am also saying that in all of this, are our kids being educated or not? If they are being educated, let's try and come together as one people, all hands on deck, to be able to deal with the challenges that the free SHS is giving to us. Mind you, it's a novel policy. Of course, any novel policy will come with challenges like these, but we should be able to show that leadership. We should be able to show that political will to be able to deal with those challenges. And I think that these are the challenges that we are facing. I remember when we were making that decision to whether or not to introduce double track, quite a number of people said that we were going to deteriorate our education system because double track who be that. See who be that crown part. It was at the basic level. People will go in the morning and people will go in the afternoon and all that. But in the circumstances, if 400,000 people were going to school at the same time, they were eligible to go to school, whom are you going to leave in the house? Whose child are you going to leave in the house?
So leave no one behind.
You should not leave anybody behind. But those were the critical decisions that we had to make at the time. But it came with challenges. The challenges were that now kids will go to school for about 2 months and they have to come and stay home for about another 1 month or two. Those were the challenges that we're facing. In that circumstances, there has been equity. Everybody has been educated. But going forward, what can we do to be able to eliminate that?
Okay.
Which I think that we are almost done, eliminating the double track.
You've just come out of a contest. You were contested as a first termer. Some of your colleagues lost, and I'm sure you're going to miss them. What is your view on the debate on whether or not MPs should be protected? There are people who think that if you're a first termer, at least you should be protected because if you come for 4 years and you're gone, it doesn't benefit their constituency. What's your view?
Well, it's subjective. It depends on what you have done within the 2 or 3 years. It cannot be that because you are just a first timer, you should be protected. It's possible that there are some first timers who have performed abysmally poorly. When it happens like that, you cannot be protected by the party. The party should have a mechanism that should be able to assess the achievement, or if you like, the performance of first timers, to know that this first timer has the potential to be able to help the party, has the potential to be able to support the party in parliament, have learnt something in parliament, and for that matter, it is proper for us to be able to protect that person. If you're able to do that, fair enough. If not, I don't think that any first timer should be protected, just on the basis that the person should be protected.
Vincent Eko Asafwa, lawyer, MP, Old Tafo, newly elected parliamentary candidate. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. You know, I just came from Kumasi.
Oh, you just came from
Kumasi? Yeah, there was a song that was being sung by the people of Ashanti region.
Okay, what song is that?
They want to see Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Oh, they want him to come there?
President of the Republic of Ghana.
Okay, and you are sure that he can break the 8
And they also said that the ticket that is going to give us that victory is a ticket that includes Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe.
Oh,
Dr. Napo.
Your former boss?
Oh, yes. That's the ticket that
so you are actively campaigning for him to be running mates?
The Ashanti region, the people of Ashanti region and the chiefs.
And the people of Mesia?
Yes, and they are all telling us that they want that ticket. And that
Bawumia and Napo.
Bawumia and Napo ticket. And that ticket is going to give us victory in 2024.
Otherwise, you can't break the 8.
Well, that's what the people of Ashanti region is telling us. So you have to do what the people want.
So you are lobbying for that to happen?
Well, that's what they are saying.
Wish you all the best and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you so much, Umaru.
That was a Member of Parliament for Utafo, Vincent Ekosafwa. My name is Umaru Sandamado. Production by Kobna Wilson, Sami Wiafe, and Beverly London. Technical support from Desmond Nyako. New media support from Edwin Kwakofi. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.